Texas innovation is changing our world, curing what once was incurable, taking us places we've never been, and engaging us in ways we never imagined. Accomplishments that break barriers, cure disease, and expand our horizons. These innovations are at our foundation, the Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas. This year, we begin a tradition of recognizing the very best and brightest up-and-coming Texas innovators through awards established in honor of Edith and Peter O'Donnell. Tonight, we give you the 2006 O'Donnell Awards. With a background as a practicing physician in France, Gerard Charesty has seen firsthand the effects of osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis, you have to see it essentially as a fire in your house. You have an increase in destruction of the bone, and what you want is not only to stop the fire, but to rebuild.
Gerard left his medical practice and eventually came to the Baylor College of Medicine to learn more about diseases like osteoporosis. Gerard's research lab uses the best aspects of molecular biology and the latest in genetics. In just 5 years of testing, Gerard has overwhelming evidence that beta blockers, medications commonly prescribed for heart disease and high blood pressure, can reverse the course of osteoporosis and actually help regenerate bone tissue.
We know exactly how the beta blockers act in bone cells, on which genes to do which function with which result.
These results are a huge step toward a healthier life for more than 25 million Americans and countless others around the world suffering from osteoporosis.
It's a major accomplishment because it's not only a biological finding, it's a biomedical finding, and being a physician myself, it's much more rewarding than only a biological finding.
There are very small numbers of people who are really talented, who can make really big contributions. And the fact that he bridges from the basic science into the clinic, I think is a big part of what makes him very deserving of an award like this.
As an assistant professor in chemical engineering, Lin Lu is making huge strides at UT Austin. Her research in plastic electronics is laying the groundwork for what could become a whole new industry.
The ultimate goal is that perhaps plastic could be cheaper, and so we can make low-cost electronics with plastic materials.
Ever since she was a child growing up in Malaysia, Lin knew she wanted to become a chemical engineer. Her ambition for her field is even stronger today.
It's fairly unprecedented in such a young person to have come as far as she has in such a short time.
With graduate training in polymers and postdoctoral training in microelectronics, she found her niche working with plastics that conduct electricity. The field, barely 5 years old, has become her passion.
You can combine properties of metals or semiconductors with the mechanical properties of plastics.
In her lab, Lin and her staff test a variety of imprinted patterns on plastic materials by running electricity through the circuits.
These are circuits that we've printed on a plastic substrate, so it's completely flexible and bendable, and it's really lightweight. And so there's nothing metallic on here anymore.
Lin sees a future where plastic electronics are in large billboard displays and even in your newspaper.
So you no longer have to go out and buy a paper, you just have something, a lightweight display that you can carry around, but it updates itself with the daily newspaper, for example.
With potential applications in medicine and several other industries, Lin's research has attracted attention from around the nation.
I think this is only the beginning. She's on a very sharp trajectory to great things.
Each step toward that future keeps Lin energized and grounded in the process of learning.
I like this environment because I like doing research. I think it's the interaction with students. It's really nice to be able to help a student achieve a certain project and see their eyes sparkle. I think that's really nice. And to me, I think the enthusiasm and the thirst for the knowledge is what's most important. And so those are the things that keep me going.
Michael Rosen is curious about how cells traveling through the body change and regain their shape to reach their destination.
The research that we do is focused on understanding a pretty basic problem in biology, and that is how the shape of a cell is maintained.
He earned chemistry and chemical engineering degrees from the University of Michigan. His PhD in organic chemistry is from Harvard.
I think he is a scientist par excellence. I mean, he is driven by curiosity. He has a very sharp intellect. The ideas come out of his brain, and he has a great brain.
At the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and UT Southwestern, he's become a world leader in his field, an expert on the smallest skeletons, which are found inside every cell. Called the cytoskeleton, this is the structure that helps cells move, change shape, and react to environmental cues.
The primary technique that we use in my lab involves taking protein molecules and dropping them into a very, very large, very, very powerful magnet.
Similar to an MRI, the magnets allow Michael and his staff to better understand the arrangement of atoms in the protein molecule. That leads to greater insight into how proteins function in cells. Learning more about how these cells perform normally could potentially help develop medications that change the behavior of abnormal cells.
Immune cells have to fight infections, for example, that are out on the surface of your body, on your skin. But immune cells exist in your bloodstream. And so for an immune cell to crawl through tissues to go from the site of its localization out to where it needs to function requires massive changes in cell shape, cell adhesion, and all of those are intimately involved with remodeling of the actin cytoskeleton.
The more daunting the problem Michael faces, the more engaged he becomes.
I think I just take great personal satisfaction, intellectual satisfaction out of taking a complex problem, breaking it into pieces, and then slowly working through those pieces to ultimately understand something very large through a lot of small steps.
The expression up and coming is perhaps already outdated. I mean, he is there, but there is a lot more to be expected from him.
The Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas congratulates Gerard Charesty, Lin Lu, and Michael Rosen, the 2006 recipients of the Edith and Peter O'Donnell Award.